When looking for the king of podcasts, you're at the wrong channel.
Well, excuse me!
Looking for good ideas for life? You're far from good hands.
Hey, bud, what's your problem?
If you think the listener is always right, you're far from the right place.
Out of order! Even in the future, nothing works!
Hosted by a Northeasterner by birth, but a rebel by choice.
Are you threatening me?
If you want a host that floats between love and madness,
and we know the night is always gonna be here anyway. Thinking of you's working up my appetite. Looking forward to a little afternoon delight.
then play on and listen to Crazy Train Radio.
All right, guys, listen to this blues riff and B. Watch me for the changes and try and keep up, okay?
Warning, creators of this game do understand the subject matter may be offensive to some, but they do honor the families and people that have been affected by these real-life tragedies that these individuals have caused. Want to play a game?
Oh, yeah!
Lover of true crime?
Yes, yes, yes.
Well, we got an interesting game for you to check out.
Wow.
With the mashup of influences such as horror movies, collecting cards, and RPGs.
What?
Led to giving birth to an incredible creation of this game, Killers, the card game.
You are all my children now.
This game is a collectible trading card game featuring some of the most infamous killers, with tidbits of trivia on the back of each card to help you learn some insight to each criminal.
Who the hell are you?
Let's not forget, during the game, cops will be chasing you and these criminals.
I'm a cop, you idiot!
However, check out their website listed through all social media today, which can be found under Killers, the card game.
Am I on the internet?
I want to play a game.
Hey everybody, it's Little Egypt. You're tuning in to Crazy Train Radio.
Hey folks, it's your least favorite host in the podcast world, Croc, Jonathan Steele. And boy, do we have a good one for you today. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. And I'm excited about this because I was telling Brian, and I told the real AA here, who was our guest tonight, but she didn't see the email, so I'll tell her here that it feels like full circle with this guest, because little story time with Adam Cole baby. No, I'm not going to steal his gimmick. But anyway, quick synopsis. When I started things in June of 2012, when I was living in Florida, first person I asked, I had nothing, no credentials, no nothing, besides the college education.
Hey, what's with the used books?
What's wrong with used books?
Never really been read.
And just getting into the field of podcasting and all, was this lady, the real AA. And you can look it up when I say that, but I think most people will realize why I'm calling her that. But our guest tonight, and we might have a pop in when she lands in about a half hour, but our guest tonight from G.L.O.W, the first 2 seasons, Little Egypt. Little Egypt, how are you doing?
Oh, so good. Glad to be here. I'm sorry it took me so long to make this happen for you. Just life, boy. Let me tell you, life.
Totally get that. And it was funny because when I was in California doing the video you'll see coming up in the next week or so from the martial arts school, I was texting with her, and I lost communication with her, and it was on my end. I'm bad that way. But I reached out because she lives out in Cali and all that fun stuff, and we won't get into the personal stuff. But we made it happen. Here we are. And I'll say this because she has, and we'll get into it when we tell her story, she spends a lot of time in my home state of Jersey as well when she can, when she's on the East Coast. About 15 minutes from me in Paulsboro, New Jersey, home of the Monster Factory, when she can.
Right. That's right.
But how are you doing overall health-wise and just everything as we sit right now?
Well, the G.L.O.W girls are getting up there in age, and we've lost several of them, unfortunately. I think at the time that we did our first interview, I think the first ones to pass were, Big Bad Mama. We lost her pretty early on. A lot of girls we haven't even found. Just recently, we lost Angel unexpectedly. We lost Matilda the Hun, which we knew, that was coming, but still difficult because, you're losing a loved one. And then we lost Babe, the farmer's daughter. That was unexpected. We didn't like that at all. That one came as a big surprise to us. And she held the trademark for G.L.O.W since, over 20 years. So it was tough, a lot of things, Babe and I did a lot of stuff together. And I'm going to take off this blur. It's driving me crazy. It's making my hair look So Babe and I, when she inked the Netflix deal with the trademark, the phone started ringing from news outlets, not just like TMZ and the things that you would think would be interested, but Wall Street Journal, New York Post, New York Times, the papers in Dallas, Vegas. When I did an article for the Las Vegas Review Journal that year, it was the second most read article of the year behind the mass shooting. Do you remember that mass shooting?
Yes, from the hotel and all that fun.
Yeah.
What was it? Jason Aldean show, I think it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a concert. I know that.
Yeah. I wasn't living in Vegas at this time, but, just to tell you that there's a lot of interest still, in G.L.O.W and, happy to keep that legacy alive, especially now that Babe has passed. I was always the unofficial spokesperson. Now I just feel like, I've become the official spokesperson of the trademark, just because I've done so many interviews that, I seem to be recognized with the brand, and I'm easily accessible. Not that I was the best or anything like that. It's just that, I was the producer, one of the producers on the G.L.O.W documentary that led to the Netflix series. So, I have a lot of credibility in the after G.L.O.W market appeal. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And I do want to mention, I was telling Brian when he jumped on, we were doing audio checks and all that fun stuff. I was actually watching it again this morning on Peacock.
Isn't it the G.L.O.W documentaries on Peacock?
Yes, it is. It's on Peacock.
That's so awesome. Oh,
I could sit and talk with Angelina just one-on-one all the time, but Brian Young from the Transatlantic Ramblings podcast, I know I said something when we did our Terry Funk.
Yeah, he always gets it wrong. It's Transatlantic History Ramblings, international podcast hosted by myself out of Buffalo, New York, and the wonderful Lauren Davies out of Swansea, Wales, UK.
Wow.
But that's that show. Yeah. That's the hoity-toity show. We're here to talk Little Egypt.
Okay.
So why don't you go ahead and throw something out there?
All right, I'll throw something out there. I'm a G.L.O.W fan.
And as you do that, I'm going to toast the ones we lost since me and Angelina last chatted.
We'll join you in that toast to the ones that we lost.
Cheers. We're thinking of you, ladies.
Now I can't even be a heel because I wanted to turn on the heel charm and like go after you for being like the ultimate baby face.
He said this to me in the chat too.
No, I can't. You're drinking toast to the ones we lost, and now I look like the schmuck that I am.
You are.
Let me tell you something about Good Girls. Okay, Trish Stratus told me this when we were receiving the Female Legacy Award at the Masters, the Legacy of Masters. This was maybe a decade ago with Lisa Moretti, Lisa Barron. They were there. People recognized everybody but me. Right. They were just like, and this girl is, but it's the benchmark. G.L.O.W represents the benchmark in female wrestling, which is absolutely amazing. Tina Ferrari, Lisa Moretti, who also wrestled as Ivory, now is in the WWE Hall of Fame. She is the bridge from the benchmark to where you see.
Question.
What?
I said, without question.
Oh, without question. But Trish Stratus told me this, so I'm going to tell you this. Good girls are all bad girls that are just too smart to get caught. So hit me with it.
Oh, see, I can't because if my tag team partner Jean comes on, if she makes it, we'll have the heel versus babyface action going on. But
I love Hollywood so much, and yep, I wouldn't. I've actually played a little bit with her in the ring at the battle royales and stuff. Her and Vine went up against Mount Fiji a lot, and Little Fiji went up against Matilda the Hun. So that was kind of like why we were never really in the ring together. But there was like a street fight that we were in. And then obviously I had a match with Dementia, who was Vine. So, I've got a long standing history with Hollywood, and, I've always had her back. She's always had mine. I love her. I freaking love her. I support her and everything.
I love Jean. She's such a sweetheart. She's such a good friend. Yeah. And when Jonathan asked me to come on, because you were coming in, because he knows, I go back first season. I was watching every episode of G.L.O.W. I never missed one. And he said he was going to be talking to you, and I said, oh my God. And I told Jean I was going to be talking to you. Hollywood, I'm sorry, we'll call her Hollywood.
Yeah.
And she just says, oh my God, she is such a sweetheart. Tell her I said hi. And then I said, if she's around, I wonder if she'd mind coming on. Yeah. Because she was just saying the same thing. She loves you. She's like, she's so wonderful. I could have beat her in the ring, though.
Oh, 100%. She could beat me now. Have you seen her? She's in such great shape. I've had a heart attack, man. I am like a cardiac patient. I am not going to face Jeannie ever. Except for with words. I think I can beat her with words. I think I can beat her up here. I'm just saying, I think if I had to go up on Family Feud again, I think I could beat her, right?
That Family Feud was terrible.
I know you are, but what am I?
You're a nerd.
I know you are, but what am I?
You're an idiot.
I know you are, but what am I?
I know you are, but what am I?
I was the only thing I could think of. But
it was wonderful, but terrible at the same time.
I think in a chess match, or I think I got her on intellect, but she's definitely got me on brawn.
Well, I'll tell you what I told her when she was on my show a couple of years ago. Yeah. Is that one thing that always bothered me was that you girls never got the respect that you deserved as performers, because you were taken. I mean, very few actually came from a wrestling background, if any, in the first season. And they were chosen, they were trained, they busted their asses, and then they went out and put on not only that nightly show, but week after week after week of taking these bumps and really,
for real,
putting your bodies on the line for real. I mean, anybody who's ever been in a ring will tell you, yeah, you can say wrestling's fake all you want. It's not. It's predetermined, but there's nothing fake about getting thrown around like that.
Yeah. I mean, we were definitely, it was sports entertainment before the word even got popularized, but definitely sports is in there.
Oh, yeah.
Because, the bumps really do hurt if you're not thrown correctly. I'm injured in the documentary, I talk about my injuries, rotator cuffs, torn ACL. It's actually on YouTube called Little Egypt's Last Match. So it took me out, but it also propelled me to become the person who I am today. So I'll always be grateful for everything that's ever happened to me.
Oh, we are so grateful too, because like I said, you were the bridge. And I've said, I wrote a history book on wrestling and co-authored with a guy who wrote the definitive book on women's wrestling, Sisterhood of the Squared Circle by Dan Murphy. And
both are in my shelf somewhere here.
It's there somewhere.
Yeah.
Women's wrestling now is more exciting than men's wrestling ever was. And it wouldn't be like that if it were not for you in Hollywood and all those other girls that came along and G.L.O.W that first season. You changed the face of the game and you never got the respect you deserve, and you're finally getting it. And I'm so happy you're finally getting that.
Yeah. A large reason why we weren't getting it is because we weren't under the umbrella of the WWF at the time or ever, and so we became competitive, and, they had the means and the discipline to, keep us from getting too much attention over the decades. And honestly, even when Lisa Moretti was with the WWE, it's not like they were, like promoting that, like, former G.L.O.W champion. Now they were just like, you are entering as Ivory, like, this is who your persona is. You never existed in any other form. But then as G.L.O.W Netflix got popularized, 11 Emmy nominations, it went into 3 seasons, and it was filming season number 4 at the time that COVID came around and shut it down. But the reason I'm saying that is because they sure did want to align themselves with those G.L.O.W actresses, inviting them to the WWE events, doing everything that they can to jump on that G.L.O.W bandwagon, which, hey, if that gave Lisa a chance to promote G.L.O.W when she was giving her acceptance speech, heck yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. No one's standing in our way anymore. It's up to us to carry this brand forward. Unfortunately, we don't have the wherewithal. We don't have the funds. It's just being carried on the backs of historians like yourself. And thankfully, G.L.O.W Netflix is still airing on Netflix. So that kind of helps people go down that G.L.O.W rabbit hole. So,
Yeah, see, people in my age group, in your age group, this is it was a cult show, and it had that following forever.
Yeah.
But my niece, who's 17 years old, loved the Netflix series.
Oh, did she?
And I'm like, okay, Amanda, I've got all the DVDs and VHS tapes of the real show, and she fell in love with that. So, it's so amazing that you had this cult following, that it was just a cult following until that series, you exploded into pop culture again. How did that change for you at, let's just say your fan mail changed after that?
Well, it's interesting because it definitely opened doors for me. Like, for example, Billy Corgan, the lead singer of the Smashing Pumpkins, he wrote a song. Most people don't know this, but he actually wrote a song called G.L.O.W, and it's spelled G.L.O.W. It was a shout out to the gorgeous ladies of wrestling. When he wrote that song, I messaged him. I think it was on Twitter. I don't know if I was even on Instagram at the time, just to say, hey, that was awesome. And then we became friends at that point. I invited him to do the commentary reel on the G.L.O.W documentary with me, Matilda the Hun, and Hollywood. So that's a really nice feature on the G.L.O.W DVD. And then he invited me to be in a music video. So as a result, I star in one of his music videos. I never thought in my 40s I would be in a Smashing Pumpkins music video, but they'd opened that door. And then also I got to make an appearance on The Bachelor. Who would have thought, in my 50s that I would actually be asked to come in with Babe, the farmer's daughter. And we were training the girls. It was season number 22, episode number 3. The girls had to get into a wrestling ring and vie for the attention of the Bachelor Ari at the time. And our job was to train the girls so that they didn't kill themselves. So that was pretty crazy. So things like that were amazing. And then, of course, being able to forever, thanks to the internet, thanks to Google search engines, that when you pull up my name, you'll be able to see, all the credible, news related sites that have written about G.L.O.W. And then we were able to even get the Female Legacy Award at the Cauliflower Alley Club. G.L.O.W. was
long overdue and well deserved.
Thank you. And then me and Lisa Moretti being recognized as Female Legacy Award winners for the Master of Ring Entertainment, who was doing a one-time tribute on the best in show. And so that's when Trish Stratus, Amy Dumas, Lisa Moretti, me, Terry Reynolds, Lisa Barron. Those were the women getting recognized, and I'll be forever grateful for platforms that will give me a voice to hopefully get people curious enough to go down that rabbit hole.
May I jump back in here?
Yeah,
sorry,
please.
Brian. Go ahead.
Welcome back to your show.
Great.
No, go ahead. Finish your statement you were going to go with, Brian. Before
I was going to go down a whole nother rabbit hole, so I'm going to shoot your show back to you.
He don't know me very well, do he?
Okay. What's that?
I said, you look great, by the way. What are you drinking?
Irish whiskey, Tullamore. Somebody sent it to me for my birthday at the beginning of August. And Samantha, thank you so much. So it's just kind of one of those keep things relaxed.
To alcohol, the cause of and solution to all of life's problems.
But
I'm drinking a sparkling water, a La Croix.
Oh, well, okay. That's where I was actually going to go, because right before I jumped on the Zoom line obviously I've known you for 11 years here.
Yeah.
And even though with losing touch for a little bit, two things you mentioned when talking to Brian there, the heart attack. And that's really what kind of lit a fire under my behind to got to reach back out. And I know it shouldn't take something serious like that to reach. When I heard that on social media and stuff, I was like, damn it. And just stuff with, and we don't have to touch on it. Obviously, your husband, Michael, and your son.
Oh, we can. That probably
okay. Well, she had lost since there. Yeah, she lost her husband, Michael, and then she had the heart attack and just different things. So I'm like, I got to reach out. And I was bad about it, like I said.
Oh, it's so uncomfortable, for a lot of people. Like, because do you reach out? You're getting.
I know I reached out about Michael.
Oh, did you? Okay, yeah. Thank you.
I know that, but it was the heart attack. Then I lost track again, and it was. Yeah, I got it. Let that fire that. Hey, I got it. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, at the time that I had my heart attack, I mean, we were just starting a pandemic. The world was coming to an end. I mean, you had other things going on, dude. Like, it's cool. Don't you worry. Don't worry.
Yeah. But it was what I wanted to bring up, because you brought up this sparkling water there. And I was, like I said, before we jumped on the Zoom here to do the sound check with Brian and such, is that I was watching a little clip from a couple months ago with the girls from G.L.O.W. with Lisa and and you guys were the first thing you were starting with, I didn't get to finish it, but you were talking, you have been a big proponent for nutrition and everything else, and taking care of yourself, because like you said, you had your share of bumps or bruises, the knee that ended your career, your rotator cuffs, the ticker.
Hearts will never be practical until they can be made unbreakable.
And just when did nutrition and being smart about your health really come into play for you?
Yeah, it was 2013 when I went into my third career. So my first career was wrestling, short-lived, but the legacy probably is, probably my claim to fame would be that. I went into real estate afterwards and had an amazing career in real estate in Las Vegas for over 20 years. My husband and I closed over 1,000 homes. So
that's when we connected.
Yeah. And so that's like rock star, like Hall of Fame stuff, and enough to where I could actually physically retire in my late 40s. Moved to Laguna Beach. That's where I found a company called Arbonne that formulates really clean products, not just skincare, but nutrition. And as I was learning about nutrition, I started understanding inflammatories and foods that are inflammatories and the long-term results and the damage to your body. So I was really grateful that I've been on, a really clean lifestyle, for the last 10 years. And I use that to empower women and men, mostly women, because, there's a couple reasons why I feel really strongly to empower women. One, I was kind of raised in it. Okay, my mom was a Turkish movie star in a country where being a Turkish movie star was really cool, but you didn't want to marry one, right? Like that was kind of like so she married an American Navy man, had 4 kids in the United States, some half Turkish, half Italian. That's why my roots are in Jersey. And that's why, I'm 15 minutes from you because I'm a South Jersey, Philly, Paulsboro, New Jersey kind of girl. And, when someone told me the other day, because I was dropping F-bombs, and I'll do that.
No, we don't do that in the Northeast.
Oh,
fuck no.
Did you just say the F word?
Yeah, right. So I was dropping some F-bombs and someone said, "You have a potty mouth." I said, "Excuse me? I do not have a potty mouth. I have a South Jersey mouth. That's completely different."
There you go. I got a good one for you.
No, what is it? What's the good one?
All right. So right before I talked to you, when I was working for Disney, I was being Jersey born and bred. And I get my first paycheck, and me and Brian, I was telling Brian about the limited funds they pay you for Disney, and that's a whole nother story for another time.
Hey everybody, it's me, Mickey Mouse. Say, you want to come inside my clubhouse?
So I got my first paycheck. It's like, all right, do I put towards my rent or do I actually eat? Because it was like $7.85 an hour. So I'm like, and yeah, it was bad, part-time too. So yes, folks, the tunnel is real under Magic Kingdom. So I decided to go to get a sandwich, a cheesesteak. And you being from here, because I know you love your cheesesteaks.
I love cheesesteaks.
So I go, I'm probably going to regret this, but I'm going to get a cheesesteak from the employee restaurant. So
okay.
And of course they have, you need tomatoes and peppers, and they make it like a hoagie.
Oh my God.
Right? I'm like, no, don't happen. I want just American cheese, the meat, the roll. They're like, well, that's not what a cheesesteak is. I said, bullshit. I was born at Cooper Hot. Yeah, this is the whole where you like with the potty mouth on. Bullshit. F you. I was born in Cooper Hospital in Camden. I know what they practically give you a cheesesteak when you're discharged from the hospital after your birth. I know what a sandwich is.
So that's what's wrong with you.
Yeah, that explains a lot. Born in Camden.
You're both wrong because as a fellow Northeasterner,
this is coming from a guy from Buffalo.
I'm from Buffalo, and we all know the only food to get for dinner is wings. You gotta eat wings.
I'll eat them. I'll
there
eat wings.
You go, and they're good for you.
No problem.
No carbs, no nothing. They're good for you. Chicken wings are healthy.
Yeah, if you bake them and you don't fry. Yeah, there's ways to make a chicken wing very yummy and anti-inflammatory. And that's part of why I'm writing a book, actually, on how to convert some amazing dishes into anti-inflammatory meals so that you can live longer and enjoy more food. Does that sound like something you would be interested in reading?
Yes. I would. Well, first off, I'm a fat guy from Buffalo. Yes.
Okay.
love to read this. Plus, you're Little Egypt. I usually don't cheer for the good girls, but I'll make an exception.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I appreciate that.
I do have to warn you, my cats may be photobombing any moment because they love to jump in front of the camera.
That's why I shut the door in my room.
But since you're Little Egypt, I mean, you'll worship them, so I guess that's okay.
Oh, absolutely. I love cats, dogs, animals. I love it.
I have to ask you a wrestling question.
Sure.
Because it goes back to the very beginning. And it's not so much a question. I kind of want you to tell the audience that this was serious. What you girls did was for real. You had one of the best trainers in pro wrestling who took you under his wing.
Mondo.
Yep. And taught you girls in a short time period. I mean, it was intense and it was serious. I mean, if you want to just tell people, like, yeah, you weren't a joke. You weren't just all pretty faces up there to Google, to Oogle or Ogle or whatever you want to call it back in 1980s.
Yeah. Well, here's something really interesting. So Mondo was hired to train the cast, the original cast in LA. And then when the show got moved to Las Vegas, they didn't bring Mondo along. Actually, the girls at that point became the trainers. So the first trainers in season 1 were Royal Hawaiian and Americana. When I got there at the end of season 1 and all through season 2, it was Attaché. Every move I learned through Attaché. In season 3 and 4, debutante, Nanuchka, they were also, picking up some extra cash by working as trainers. And honestly, I think at this point, we kind of knew how to do the basics. I mean, I felt so comfortable learning through Attaché because she was really disciplined in the sport. And I just knew that I was going to be safe in the ring with her. I knew I was going to be safe, learning how to become a wrestler. Here's what's really interesting, Brian, is that when I was first picked up to audition for G.L.O.W, we all kind of in this at the end of season 1, season 2. There was there wasn't the major casting call that Hollywood was involved in where 500 people showed up, right? It wasn't at this point. It was like, I have a friend, I think she would be great, and then that's how Dawn came in through debutante, Godiva came in through debutante, right? And different, everyone kind of came in through their own circles. Everyone has a different story. For me, I was a 19-year-old working in a t-shirt store, and Mount Fiji came in to have a t-shirt made for a match. And she was so charismatic and huge, 350 pounds of charisma, just walked in, and she was confident. And when you're not confident, very few 19-year-olds are confident or have much belief or even know what they want to do in life. But I was so mesmerized by her. I couldn't believe, that she was a wrestler. And I didn't really know much about wrestling other than Hulk Hogan. I mean, my family's from wrestling, but collegiate style. I have 2 uncles in the Jersey Hall of Fame for wrestling. Yeah, I mean, I was the only one in the Giovanetti family that actually got paid for it. That's kind of the only female to wrestle in my family and make money. Rights. Yeah, I do have bragging rights. But my uncle's huge, Hall of Fame, New Jersey State. They were state champions. They were absolutely incredible. But that being said, I just remember her having way more belief in me than I had in myself. But she was like, "Go down there and talk to David McLean. Tell him I sent you." And when I went to talk to David McLean, he put me into training like most girls. It was kind of like, see if they survive. What's it going to cost them to throw a girl in training? They didn't care, because if the girl turned out to be something, then they'd figure out what character and then they put her in the show. So for me, I was in training for 2 weeks. That's it. The only athletic sport I was doing was aerobics. And that's not even a sport. It's an exercise routine. I was an aerobic instructor on the side. It was that was it. But 2 weeks later, I was in my first match on live television in front of a live audience at the Riviera Hotel. And my first match was with Chainsaw and Spike. I had 2 matches that day. And my second match was with the Housewives. So Chainsaw and Spike.
Chainsaw and Spike, yeah.
So it was perfect. They knew exactly what they were doing because Chainsaw and Spike didn't wrestle anyway. They were just pure entertainment. They were so fun. All I was doing was stomping. But what was really interesting with me versus maybe some other wrestlers that you see now coming into the ring, they'll go through farms, they'll go through training camps. It's legit business. They're showing up before they get on camera. They have a lot of experience. Little Egypt, you can see her progressing as a wrestler from the very first time she stepped into the ring till she loses her ACL. I felt really good towards the end. I was getting into singles matches. That's where I had that amazing match with Palestina and Nanuchka. And I was really starting to feel really super confident in myself as a wrestler. And I knew I was going long. I knew I was going to go far and I was so excited about that. And then when I tore my ACL, it was pretty hard to swallow. And I think it's hard for anyone working in the industry to swallow that pill, because what I found later talking to other wrestlers was that, you just kind of stop watching it. You don't watch it anymore because it's almost too painful. Just like when a football player gets taken out or a professional athlete, they don't want to become a super fan. They just kind of want to digest everything and try and move on. How do I move on from this? And I just, at this point, only with a high school education, I wanted to make money. And, in my early 20s, the only thing that made sense was real estate. And I went out to conquer that market. So what Fiji put in me, the belief that she had in me that I didn't have in myself, inspired me to realize that I can actually do more than I ever thought was possible. That's why when I got into real estate, I wasn't afraid of the rejection, because listen, if you can get dropped by Matilda or, Nanuchka puts you in one of her finishing moves, I think I can handle no, we think you're too young to list our house. I think I can live with that. I think I can live with the rejection of the no's. And that just made me more powerful. My belief got stronger. I outperformed so many other people in real estate. And then when I retired, I realized that I wanted to give back, the same belief that Mount Fiji gave me is the same belief that I hold in women. And a lot of them didn't have the same opportunities that I had. A lot of them didn't have someone look them in their eyes and go, you could do this. And you're like, no, I can't. And they look at you and they go, yes, you can. Get out there and do it. And that's what I get to do now for the rest of my life. I get to look at women and say, you know what? You got this. Whatever it is you want, I've got the vehicle for you. I can help you. I can either coach you to have a better physical life, or if you're looking to become an entrepreneur, like what I was able to do over the last 10 years, I can help you develop those skills too. So I see myself more as a mentor, a coach, an entrepreneur, a businesswoman. I speak on behalf of my company in countries where I don't even speak the language. I think I got it. I think I got it figured out, and I'm really happy.
Yeah. And this is why I love you, Egypt, as a person. And I'm so glad I connected with you because, yeah, we brought you on because of wrestling. But from when I first connected with you in 2012, you where most people, like you said, when they have the injuries or something that takes them out of the game from wrestling, what am I going to do? Sometimes wrestling is all they know. You had the wherewithal. And okay, what am I going to do next? Because I still have the rest of my life to go. She went into real estate for 20 years. She then retired from real estate. You were doing the motivational speaking. You do a lot of stuff with nutrition. You do, you evolved as a person.
Yes.
throughout your years. But you mentioned about the confidence at 19 with Fiji and all that stuff. And you found the confidence to wrestle, which led to everything else, professionally. But when, as a person, as we sit here on September 6, 2023, when would you say you've felt the most confident about the whole picture of, and I'm not talking Little Egypt, I'm talking Angelina, the Angelina that I've got to know over the past 11 years. When did you feel, okay, I am the best woman that I can be? And obviously you're still going to evolve as life goes on, but when did you finally hit that? I'm in such a great place on all levels.
That's really interesting because I define that as that state of gratitude, right? Where you're like, oh my God, I'm so grateful for everything that's ever happened to me. When you're at a state of gratitude, you're at that state of, this is, you're like you're feeling your zenith. Okay. When you're in a state of gratitude. And for me, it was about 3 years after I lost my husband, because for 35 years, I met Mike at 18 before I even started G.L.O.W. Okay. We were living together. So I wasn't at the Riviera Hotel. I was in an apartment with my boyfriend, Mike, who ended up being my husband. And we had a child together. My son's 30. He's right upstairs right now, doing something on Zoom. And, so when I lost my husband in 2018, and I thought that was, the pain just, was pretty overwhelming. I also knew that was a defining moment for me. My son's still here. I'm still here. I lost my husband. Is this going to defeat me or define me? And I knew that every day I asked myself that question. Am I going to be defeated or defined today? And I worked to be defined. And then I'd go to bed and then I'd wake up again and I'd be like, okay, today, am I going to be defeated or defined? I'm like, I got to be defined. My son's watching. I have to do this. I have to get through this. And I don't know how I'm going to do it. I was just open to anything. So I started meditating. I got help. I read books. I went for beach walks. I wanted to make sure my health was good, all this stuff. So at about the 2.5, 3 year mark, I was like, wow, I am so grateful for all the pain. I'm so grateful for everything, because at that moment, I realized that I had to lose my husband to find me. And it was the journey of finding me. So I guess at the age of 53, because I'm 57 now. Yeah. So I lost my husband at the age of 52. So it was that journey, the last 5 years, that defined who I am as a person. And here's what a lot of people aren't going to understand, especially if you're in a really loving relationship. I had a really loving relationship with my husband. And I see that Jeannie's coming on, but let me just finish with it. If you can, so I say this to people and it kind of takes them back, but if you really hear what I'm saying, you're going to understand how healthy I am. Because I tell people, if you ask me right now, Angelina, if you snap your fingers and have your husband back and you can live the rest of your life with your husband and your son and enjoy growing old and grandkids on your lap, would you do it? And I would say, no, I won't do it. I can't do it, because I don't want to, I wouldn't be the person I am today if I didn't go through the loss and have to overcome obstacles in my life to become the best version of myself. We don't get anywhere because the road is easy. We become the best versions of ourselves because the road is difficult. And I spend the rest of my life coaching and helping other people, whether it's in their health or their businesses, whatever it is that they want. I help them to start taking that journey to finding themselves through mindset work, through health, whatever it is that they're looking for. I want them to also feel what I'm feeling right now. I want people to feel what I feel right now. And that's every day. It's so funny. I have a mantra and it just exists in my world. And it's, I love my life. I love my life. And I wouldn't change it for the world. And I wouldn't want to ever have it any other way than the way I'm having it right now. Now, with that being said, I don't know if you want to let Jeannie in or.
Well, she's in. So Mr. Brian Young, he made this happen, the second part of this. Would you like to introduce the lady you had join us?
My tag team partner is finally here.
So you can be that heel you told us about.
The heels are about to take over, but actually in reality, this is a reunion show of two of the most famous, the most recognizable, the most important Glow girls.
Oh.
Little Egypt and Hollywood. Jean, Hollywood, welcome to the show. I'm so glad you could make it. How was your flight?
You got to unmute.
Oh, you're on mute.
I don't see her. Where is she?
Oh, I got to
now.
tell
Can you hear you? Now, can you hear me?
Yes, Little Egypt can battle that fight with the viewing.
I'm walking through the airport, is why you can't see me.
Okay. Well, hey, girl.
You can hear me. Hi, everybody.
Yes, we can. How you doing?
Doing Comic-Con in San Diego, December 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. So be sure if you're in the area to come by and see us there.
It's not San Diego. It's Los Angeles, LA Comic-Con, not San Diego. They just had San Diego.
It's California, folks.
Okay,
let me tell you, we are at LA Comic-Con again. We've probably been there, I don't know, 6 times, December 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And Matt Simber will be there, and his wife Lynn. Angelina will be there. Myself will be there. Hopefully Daisy will be there, and Thunderbolt, and of course Lightning will be there. So it's going to be pretty special. Johnny C might join us. Did you know that?
Wow.
Yeah. So it'll be pretty fun. I don't know if we're doing a we usually have like a panel, and we may be doing that, but I'm not sure yet, guys. Not sure.
Well, Jeannie's the ringleader. We're just
but it will be super exciting. Super exciting. Is it too loud, guys?
No, you're fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're perfect.
Okay, great. Because I'm talking into the phone as I'm passing gate number C3.
I've been through that airport. I know.
I wanted to get on here and say hello and say hello to Angelina as well, and to you guys.
Well, I appreciate that.
So, Brian, and I'm sure Egypt told you. Egypt, did you tell them about what you told me?
No,
I don't
tell
want
me.
to know what you told me the other day.
About
we both said we have one coming out.
I want one. You got to help me get one.
Oh, not the bells. I'm talking the other thing. I'm helping you. I'm going back with my original guy.
Oh, so what we're processing, what you're doing and what I'm doing, that's outside of the wrestling world?
Yes, with the recipes, remember?
Yes.
Did you tell them?
I did tell them I was writing a book. It's with an editor right now, and we're going to be talking about how to convert some of your favorite meals into really healthy anti-inflammatory dishes.
Fabulous. Well, mine is finally written. Brian, as you know, Dan Murphy helped me with that, and he's fantastic and such a wonderful writer and, of course, person. And without the help of him, this book, I can tell a story very well, but it's difficult sometimes to put all of that in writing. And we can't be good at everything. I'm not that, but, telling the stories and telling, the pilot through 4 years of my being there is pretty cool. And, all the experiences from that and before that. So we're close. I'm working on editing now. And
Jeannie, you are in Glow history, one of I think only 4 women. It was you, it was Nanuchka, it was Fiji.
That's it.
That
was
it. Three
That's
of you guys that went all 4 seasons. I mean,
That's correct.
I mean, if anyone has anything to say about what life was like in Glow, it's the one that went all 4 seasons.
Absolutely. You can't really tell the whole story unless you did the whole thing. So,
Exactly.
yeah, and I'm super excited about it because this has been on my bucket list for a long, long time. So to see that come to fruition is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, excited, really excited.
Well, I'm curious to know, in Hollywood, thank you for joining on with us. But since both of you are on, the one wrestling related question I wanted to ask is, and Brian knows where I'll go with this. And by the way, I'm going to get Egypt copies of Brian's book and the one you mentioned about the ladies that Dan did. So I will have those sent out to her. But I'm curious to know is, obviously there is a certain locker room etiquette. And obviously most of the ladies from G.L.O.W didn't come in from a wrestling background. So what was the locker room etiquette with you guys, with the whole crew during your time in G.L.O.W?
That's a good question. Did we have any etiquette?
No, didn't, because makeup, we had a makeup room, so the good girls and the bad girls were just in the chairs. Right. We'd be in the hallway running through like the mat.
No, we were close. Like, it's true.
So, yeah, I mean that's what we did. So, so I get, and really, honestly, so as a newbie coming in, like at the end of season 1, I just like kept my mouth shut. Like I was not there to impress anyone. I was so excited to be getting paid for this gig. I could not believe it. I mean, I was working at the time back in 1986 at the time. I think I was making $120 a week at 19 years old, working at a t-shirt store, and then went to like $320 a week for only having to go to training 3 days a week and dress up on Saturdays. Like that was a gig that I did not want to give up. Like that was like,
and during that time, that was good. I was getting $100 a day, and for me, I'm like, oh, that's awesome. $100 a day. Now, you know that changed after you left for that season 3 and 4 girls. Egypt.
Did they get less?
Way less. Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
They were on a contract that gave them half the money, and then if they were to stay, they were getting the other half. So,
well, you know what? With David McLean on tour, we were getting paid I was getting paid $650 a week. So I was like, I'm out of here. Like, there's money over there.
Yeah.
Money and friends. Like that was like.
Yeah, exactly. But as far as etiquette, sometimes I will definitely tell you, I was doing not 1 match, not 2, not 3, but 4. And that's hard. If you're doing 4 20-minute matches, 3, it was a lot to remember because, back then they wanted us to write down. Remember writing down everything?
Oh, yeah. Hey, how many matches did you end up doing over the course of those 4 seasons?
Who has that is Mike Rand. Mike Rand has all of our stats.
Well, I know what my because we were a heavy bad girl in season 2. We were way heavy on bad girls, so the bad girls weren't getting much. In season 2 is someone like me that had to tag team with Fiji. Then I came in with Amy the Farmer's Daughter, and then and then the Battle Royale stuff that we were doing. Right. So I would have like 2 to 3, but over the course of the full second season and the end of the season 1, I think I had like over 25 matches. That's freaking a lot. For the things. I mean, does that give you guys an idea of like how when Hollywood's talking about the workload? That's why I was curious how many you actually did. Because if I did 25, you had to do 20.
Well, I was there for the entire 104 seasons. I can tell you that.
104 episodes?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah. Episodes.
Yeah. And also you had the skits. So you were lucky enough to have the skits too. And, not every skit.
I had Coming to the Door with Aunt Kitty, and then they decided that they wanted a bad guy to do the PSA commercials.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, those were good.
Yeah. Blanche said, who can we get that people would relate to? We're going to get the bad guy Hollywood to do it. So then after all the matches were done, Brian and Crazy Train over there, then I had to get ready to do the PSA commercials at the end of the night. So, they were using us as much as they could. And then I would head home to Los Angeles because I would leave and go home on Saturday nights.
So well, you have a really good story, Jeannie, because like at the end of season 2, when David McLean broke from Matt Simber and started the POW tour, and you went back home, I mean, they had to kind of finesse you back for season 3, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I said I wasn't coming back. Oh, no, you have to come back. Well, that's because there was no one coming back besides Fiji, and Anushka. So I said, okay, you guys, I said, I will come back. And David Amiri said to me, well, what do you want? And I went, I just want to work once a month. He goes, no, you can't do that. I go, well, you have to be one. And so it was that. So I had to come every week, but I could do part-time and then I could go home, and they would pay for my flights. So I said, okay, this is a better deal. So I did it. That's
You had one of the sweetest deals, I'll tell you, because like Nanuchka, who was there, she lived in Las Vegas. Her mom was the costume designer. She wasn't going anywhere. That was like, there was no need to negotiate anything further there. And then Fiji was so loyal to the band, like she wasn't going anywhere either. But, to get wined and dined and kind of have, what you had, Jeannie, you were the only one. Like you were the only one that they really felt like we can't lose this one.
Bless their hearts, and the rest is history, right?
Well, I got to jump in and say,
yeah, Brian.
Well, first off, I wish I could say this was the first time I was thinking what the G.L.O.W locker room was like, but since I started watching it,
I was going to throw you into the bus, but go ahead, sir.
I can't honestly say that that's the first time I've thought that. But what's amazing to me is you can hear the love in the voices of both of you when you're going back and forth talking about this, that so many people from the wrestling industry or the entertainment industry, when they talk about the past, are miserable about it and they're bitter. And I'm sure there were bad things about it too, but just the two of you listening to you, there's this love and joy in your voice talking to each other about it. It's
why
magical.
Why that is magical? Because Angelina and myself are positive people.
Yeah.
And we're not glass half empty. I'm not. I don't think she is either. And there are good times and bad times, but I always look at everything as a win-win, and life was good for me then as well as it is today. I have, if you ask me if I do it all over again, hell yes. Maybe I would have asked to do directing because I would have loved to direct some of our episodes. But my head wasn't there then. I don't know if yours was, Angelina, but her and I we're positive people, and we know a lot of negative people in that, and everybody does. It's good and bad. You take the good with the bad. But I think if you have, you keep your head up and you give 110%, which I did, and I know Angelina did as well, then there's nothing to complain about,
You know what, Jeannie, also like when we talk about like why we're so grateful, it's because our best days are not behind us.
Because
our best days were not behind us. Like for a lot of girls, that's where they live and that's where they exist. Because those were their best days and they never moved forward. Fine. Yeah. We weren't going to let G.L.O.W defeat us. We were going to let G.L.O.W define us. Right. And so it did define us. And Jeannie went on to become an entrepreneur in the wrestling industry. And she's still an entrepreneur with the book and her soap business. And I went on to do the same thing, but just in a different field. We took what we learned, and it was actually, the way I look at it, Jeannie, I don't know if you look at it this way, but one of the things that G.L.O.W taught me was how to be brave.
Absolutely.
And how to take risks, how to take falls. We were literally taking falls so that we could theoretically take falls for the rest of our lives.
That's a good one.
And does that make sense? Are you with me are you on board with that?
You 110%. You know what I mean? It's very true. I love that. That gives me chills that you said that, because That's so true. Brian, you picked up on both of us that way. And you don't always see that because I know, we know. So yeah, it did. It defined us as who we are today.
Yeah. Yeah. It did. It was because we moved forward from G.L.O.W. We didn't live in the past.
Yeah.
It was,
and this is why sorry.
Go ahead.
And Adam. This is why, before Jeannie joined us, why I asked what I asked about not only how you feel about yourself, when was your best self and stuff, but I was asking Egypt about, or I shouldn't say I asked her, but this is why I said I loved her as a person, because she was able to look forward. What is next for me? What am I going to do? And keep moving forward. Yeah. And that's just one of her personality traits that I loved about her in the
thank you. And
11 years I've known her.
We looked at G.L.O.W. and we didn't even know we were looking at it because we were so young. At this point, I was like 21 maybe. Okay. But it was like transitioning. Everything was a transition from G.L.O.W. we transitioned, Jeannie transitioned into spinning it into her own wrestling, business empire. I spun it into sales and marketing. Like we both took it and we went the entrepreneur route because the America route wasn't
it was dead.
Yeah, it was basically dead to us. But one of the reasons too, Jeannie, like if you went from G.L.O.W, right, into a field where you were limited, where there was a glass ceiling, right? Like where someone says you have to do this in order, you have to work 9 to 5, you have to be here, you're not going to be identified as an individual, you're a corporate person, then you know what? G.L.O.W is going to be your best days. G.L.O.W is going to be your best days. And so I think for a lot of girls, the ones that didn't just move forward and say, you know what, transitioning, I'm going to elevate, I'm going to grow from this experience. If they didn't, then G.L.O.W becomes their best days. And those you're a product of the decisions that you make over the course of a lifetime. And just the reason Jeannie and I connect so well is because, I think we've elevated ourselves. We work on our mindset. We work on our health. Hello. Have you seen her body? I mean, I want her body. Like I want Hollywood's body. It's amazing. Like she's definitely staying focused on everything. We're living a balanced life.
Trying to be healthy,
Don't sell yourself short, Egypt.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I'm still in a bikini. I think Jeannie and I don't know how many, maybe
me, you, and Lightning. We got to give Lightning credit too, guys, because Lightning, she moved on too. She's a professional stunt woman, and that's where she went with that.
Oh yeah. You know what? Americana moved on, and she became she became
artist.
A brand speaker, obviously Lisa Moretti, who owned a pet grooming service. I mean, a lot of us went into doing more entrepreneurial stuff, and it's just that Jeannie and I allow ourselves to be available more probably than we just allow.
Well, and also, can I say, I mean, being available because I want to, and because I am very confident, just like you are. I think we're very independent, confident women about ourselves. Like you said, we're into health. We're into how we look. And but the thing that works, you can be beautiful on the outside, but let me tell you something. If you don't have it on the inside, to me, you're ugly. You know what I mean? You have to have that grateful, honored feeling that every day, I don't know. I just look at life and look at it as it's a blessing, really. I mean, I'm not this religious person, but it really is. I mean, I've been blessed to be in this line of work, to be who I am, to be grown up, to be brought up the way my parents brought me to be. I used to think that they were very mean and strict, and God, I am so glad that they were like that.
Yeah.
That made me, that right there defined me. my folks.
Yeah, values. You can't go with a set of values, and they're still with you. That's, it's really interesting. I wish we could sit here and celebrate all the women, because now I feel like we have to, Dawn's on to become really an amazing leader of volunteers and her passion for animals. I mean, I wish there was a way for everyone to see the success of so many G.L.O.W girls, because, sometimes, the bad apples get a lot of attention just because,
they lie. Because they lie and make it sound like it's real.
Yeah.
They like to rewrite history. Let me just tell you that.
Yeah.
You can't rewrite it.
Yeah, you can't. But I'm just so glad for
our
platforms
fans know.
like this. Our fans, and I think anyone going down the rabbit hole will figure it out too. Like, oh my God, Americana was pretty damn special, or oh my God, I for every season that G.L.O.W Netflix aired, I was on AfterBuzz TV doing a podcast. I had Hollywood on several times. So if you want to see some of these girls that we're talking about that we're so proud of, like Americana and Hollywood and Dawn and I'm trying to get these girls onto the podcast that that didn't like doing interviews that much because they're making family a priority, or life happens and they just didn't want to do an interview, would come onto the podcast. So if you just scroll YouTube, AfterBuzz TV, Little Egypt, you'll see a collection. I had Lightning on. I had all sorts of G.L.O.W girls that I could get my hands on come onto that AfterBuzz, because I thought it was really important for people to see how positive and successful so many of us are. I mean, we're a group of pretty, there was 60 of us cast for this show, 60.
And let me tell you this, I saw 84 of them go through, 84 actually. That is what Stephen Blantz told me. 84
there was 84
women.
Characters?
84, he said, characters that went through G.L.O.W.
Well, you know what?
Not all of them stayed, that, or wrestled.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
he said 84.
If Steve said 84, it was 84, because this man has a mind like a steel trap. He still writes everything with a pencil and a piece of paper.
Yes,
he wrote my
does.
G.L.O.W rap. Did you write your own G.L.O.W rap, Hollywood?
I wrote my first one, but he wrote several, but I just can't remember. I have them in my book, and I will put those in the book.
Oh, good.
Yeah, like our whole, I'll have that in the book as well. Like I still have that book. I mean, you know how many years ago that is? It's a notebook with notes and matches.
Yeah. You should take a picture of that and post that on. Yeah. So here's so Steve, I was 19 years old. I wasn't writing a rap. I didn't know how to rap. This was I didn't even know how to deliver a rap. And when Steve wrote the line, I'm something as a sphinx's riddle, I couldn't say the word sphinx. They had to do take after take after take.
Was Matt yelling at you? Was Matt yelling?
He was laughing at first, and then he was like, get it. Like, okay, the first 5 times, funny. I can't believe this girl doesn't know how to say sphinx.
I can't say that fast either. Okay,
now you're wasting my time. Get this word straight. And Steve was over, and he's like, just sit. Just watch my lips, Angela. Watch my lips. Sphinx. I couldn't get that fucking word.
You're so funny. Oh, you can say, can we switch the word to tomb or Egyptian or?
But
you guys are going to lose me. You guys, I got to go because I'm underneath my car. I thank you guys so much for having me. Egypt, you look beautiful. It's wonderful to see you. Brian, thank you. And Mr. Crazy, thank you guys.
I'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Okay, have a good one. Good night.
Brian, do you have a question? Because I got a final one that I think will be good for Little Egypt, but do you have something?
I have one comment and then one quick question. The comment is, this is the first time I've met you, and it's such an honor and such a pleasure. And, you are every bit as beautiful now as you were then, and you're even more beautiful of a person just hearing you talk and the positivity. And as I told Jonathan that when I was going to try to get Jeannie to come on too, is that 13-year-old Brian fell in love with Hollywood. It was like his first big crush. And if you'd have told 13-year-old Brian that he would be friends with this person now and would be texting her regularly and popping her up, he never would have believed it. But what makes it special is, not like you, not only is she as beautiful as she ever was, but it's the beauty of the person she is. In fact, when I told him, he said, "Oh, you know Hollywood." And what did I tell you? I just kept saying she's the sweetest person you'll ever meet. She's as sweet as you can imagine. And that's what it is to me now. When I describe her or introduce her to people, it's always about what a wonderful person she is.
And what did I say to you about Egypt?
Same exact thing, except he said you might kick my ass.
Let's get ready to rumble!
When you found out I was a heel, he did. Yeah. He said you could be brutal and you were gonna terrorize me.
Not at all. Not at all.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
But the quick question.
If anything, it's just I'm feeling a little bit of sympathy towards you because heels are just good girls are just bad girls that don't get caught. We're just a little bit more smarter than a heel. So if anything, it's just my pity for you.
It could be the pity. I understand that. I'm a big Irishman from New York. I understand pity. My question is, and you brought up Fiji earlier.
Yeah.
And it's something me and Jeannie had talked about before, is that she was literally and figuratively a larger than life person.
100%.
And a very sweet woman and a very protective woman of the other girls.
Yeah.
And she had told me that she doesn't think there was anybody involved with G.L.O.W. that didn't absolutely love Fiji. I just want to know, you told us how you met her, but how did she treat you once you were brought into the company in the ring? Was she that protective older sister like she was with everybody? And just how sweet a human being was she?
Well, so this is kind of crazy, but when you're a good girl, you're actually spending most of your time with the bad girls because you're putting together the matches. So I never really, after I got into G.L.O.W. and I became a good girl, we would do like maybe with the raps, she would be behind me and I would see her and I'd love on her. Like when we had the G.L.O.W. games, which totally that's when I could finally feel like I was on the team good girls, like during moments like that. I was like, we've got Fiji, you're screwed, that's like, we were like, that's the only time I really felt like part of team good girl, because most of the time I'm connecting and working with the bad girls all the time. I had a really close relationship, and the girls that I did have, the good girls that I did have really close relationships with, like Amy in California, the California Doll, was because I was tagging with them and it afforded me this opportunity to get to know them better. So that, if that makes any sense, I looked at Fiji like a hero, like the star athlete, like like the Tom Brady of G.L.O.W. You just kind of like, oh, here, like here she is, like, show your respect, but as far as like having a relationship with her, like, like a snuggle bunny, that we never did that, but she was 100% on when she was there, and she was a team player, and we looked at her like our star quarterback, and whatever, she set the mood, and the mood was always professional. We're here to perform. How can we help each other? Service mindset. I mean, she had all that. And when I moved to California in 2013, and I found out she was in a nursing home through the G.L.O.W. documentary, it just broke my heart. Like, I was like, I have to get to see Fiji. Like this, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be who I am today. So let's find her. So I would go visit her with different girls, like Godiva and I would go, and Hollywood would be there. We'd all kind of like take our turns, rotate through there. And one time the sprinkler system went off, and and it totally flooded her room, which was just like a bed and a little closet, but all of her clothes were ruined, all of her underwear, socks, everything that she owned as personal item was ruined. And at this point, I was really active in the Cauliflower Alley Club. I was doing trainings for them during the Cauliflower Alley Club on Plan Bs and anything that I could do to try and like give back to the community. And when Carl Lauer, he's the one that introduced me to the Cauliflower Alley Club, I reached out to him and I said, hey, Fiji's in trouble. Like she lost everything. He immediately, went to the, to the board members, and they wrote me a check from the benevolent fund of $600. And I used that $600 to replace everything that was in her world. And that's like the community of wrestling.
Yeah.
That is who we are. You know what? We are in entertainment. Okay, we are. We understand that we love the art of entertainment. We love it. I mean, so much so that it's very inclusive. And one of the things that I find that I really love about the wrestling industry is that, there's just this family. There's a sense of family to them. And I felt that at the Cauliflower Alley Club, because even though the WWE would have a table, a couple tables, and we get to see Sergeant Slaughter and, Honky Tonk Man. And, unfortunately, we lost a lot of people along the way, but I got to see them come through the Cauliflower Alley Club. I could see that they were just like everybody else in the wrestling industry. For them, they were not WWE superstars. They were wrestlers that just had a bigger platform, and they knew it. It.
It's familial and fraternal at the same time.
Yeah, I feel that. And that's why I always want to support the Cauliflower Alley Club. And I love their benevolent fund. And it actually helped. It helped us when we needed it. And I'll never stop talking about that.
Yes, I am a member in good standing too. And everybody out there who is a wrestling fan or boxing, because they do box. They started wrestling and boxing together.
Yeah.
But if you're a fan of wrestling, if your heart's in wrestling in any way, shape, or form, become a member of the Cauliflower Alley Club. Help support this great cause.
Yeah. It's amazing. We need it. We need it as an industry. We're not in the same sports industry like the NFL or the NBA, where there's billions and billions of dollars. We don't have that. It's up to us to come together. It's up to us to be there for each other in times of need. And I will continue to be, a voice for the Cauliflower Alley Club. I just strongly believe in that.
My last question is, well, there's two things, because you mentioned about the people we lost. And I know you had some, because of the CAC, interaction with me and Brian's buddy, Terry Funk, who we just recently lost.
Yeah.
But also, I'm curious to know your story with him. But also, like we've covered here, and like I know personally, there's Little Egypt, there's Angelina, the mom, the wife, the entrepreneur. There's many layers to the onion. So what is your legacy when people tell your story?
It's really interesting, because one of the reasons I retired from real estate is because I did not want my gravestone to read, "Here lies Angelina. She had a 98% listing sold ratio. Her average day on the market was 35 days. Did not want that. I didn't want to say, here, she closed over 1,000 homes. She was pretty good in real estate. Like, I did not want that. Instead, I want my gravestone to say something like, here's Angelina. She helped a lot of people.
Yeah. And I could testify to that because of knowing her. But go ahead, Brian. Sorry.
Yeah, here lies Angelina. She made the world a better place by being in it and giving to us all.
Thank you.
Yes, that's the truth. And people know I don't BS.
That being said, we all have that in us to make the world a better place. There's only one of you, Brian. There's only one of each of us, and it's up to us to live our best lives so that at the end of the day, the world was a better place because of us.
My wife just said, thankfully, there's only one of him when you said there's only one, Brian.
I can testify to that too.
All right. Well, you guys, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much.
Way long, but I mean, it's always a reunion whenever we get another Glow Girl on the call. So I just can't shut up when someone shows up.
That's true. Thank you so much, Little Egypt. Hey there, Friday fans. We know how much you enjoy the movies. Enjoy grabbing your Friday merchandise and interacting with the Friday family, whether it be at conventions or during our particular watch-alongs. Well, when you're looking to get yourself masks, why not check out our friends over at Camp Blood Customs out of New York State and order your specific custom mask from any of the films. All orders are made specifically. Your needs and wants are. Make sure you find Camp Blood Customs on Facebook, Instagram, and all over social media and order yours today.
How's it going, guys? This is Amy Dumas. You guys might know me as Rita, and you are listening to Crazy Train Radio.